Ever since the late 90s happened, with the whole Jaguar coming out and then they ended the support for that after 3 years, there's been companies out there that's been making newer games for older systems for Jaguar and the Lynx. The big example is this game that came out in 2022 for it as a Jaguar exclusive title, Asteroite. It's a Metroidvania game, but mostly it takes more inspiration to Metroid as, well, if you play Metroid, you know exactly what you're getting into. You can roll, you can plant bombs, you can shoot enemies and whatever. The game only has like 3 button support, but that's fine. But the game doesn't support the keypad, but who needs it in this game? Well, to be fair, the only reason I'm saying this is because you really don't use it for anything else. That's the only reason you can use the keypad is if you want to go back to the main menu, and that's pretty much it. I think it was like button combo or whatever, but I can look past that one. So the game came out in 2022, not too long after the game's release. There was apparently some issues with the game, as the first minutes when you play it, it would crash. Thankfully, if anyone were to own the original version of the game, they can actually pretty much give you the newer version for free. So that way you don't have to rebuy it again. Now I've seen people trying to say they can emulate the game, but the problem was during that time, there was no Jaguar emulating. Thankfully, as of right now, there is, but where to get the ROMs from, I have no idea. So, good luck figuring that one out. Anyways, so you play as a dude named Bounty Hunter N17. Now, the instruction manual says there's nothing much known about the character, or the past, or anything else that's clear, so the character identity is pretty much unknown. But it is armed with an assault rifle, but that's basically what you can pretty much say about the character in general. So you just go to this place, explore, and eliminate any threat you see. It's kind of pretty much it, but the manual that you'll probably get for this game is full, all in color, so you'll have no problem with this thing. Anyways, the game was developed by Phobos, and the music was made by Chrysler Productions and was published by Songbird. As you guys can pretty much get this for around $80, which I know it sounds high, but look, these cartridges aren't pretty much cheap to make. If you guys were to live like in like the 90s or 80s, you probably know that making cartridges back in the day were pretty expensive, and they pretty much still are to this very day. So here's what I'll just say about this game. For anyone that's played Metroid, you'll get quite familiar with the whole thing. The items that you'll be grabbing, like missiles and health upgrades, the morph ball, and whatever else there is. There is this weapon upgrade that you can shoot 3 bullets at the same time. It's not like straight, it's all like in 2 corners and a straight line. And that's pretty much it, which can pretty much come in handy in certain situations. Even if you are very close to the enemy, you can pretty much deal more damage any way, shape, or form. But the only way to get some health or missiles is by shooting those little spire-like creatures that come out of the eggs, and that's pretty much it. That's all you're gonna get out of this game when it comes to looking for health and missiles, when it comes to refueling. There is saves, so don't worry about that. They're in little pods, and no, there's no fast travel if asking, which is gonna pretty much disappoint some of you guys. There's also gonna be some bosses that at first gonna be hard, but then once you figure out what you have to do, then you have no problem taking them down. But I have noticed some bosses, not much, but there's like at least like 2 or 3 of them that feels like they've been reused. For example, there's an ice golem you fight, and then you later fight the slime golem. They're pretty much the exact same thing. It's just a coat of paint, and that's pretty much it. So you pretty much know if what you have to do against these guys, then you pretty much know how to beat them at this point. You know, just to back up what I'm saying about this game being like a Metroid game, this pretty much also sounds like a Metroid game. It uses chiptune music, and they pretty much make the game feel like it's Metroid. The only downside of this game is that the jumping just feels stiff. It's not that great to control, so making your jumps timing like pretty bad. You'll probably see what I mean when you guys play the game. If your game screen doesn't look that great, you can actually adjust it before you even start playing it, as they have the adjust position on the main menu. It's the very bottom, so you have to worry about adjusting the screen with your TV controls or whatever it may be. So anyhow, the game also has some hazards for you guys to watch out, like acid water, shooting fire from the ground, and whatever else there may be. Sometimes there'll be enemies where you can't really shoot from the front, but you have to shoot from the back. But yeah, missiles does more damage than your regular gun, but you also want to make sure you save them. And I say that because some bosses really do take a lot of shots sometimes. So that's kind of like why I always try to make sure I save the missiles before I even try doing such thing. Sometimes there's gonna be a downside where if there's like too many enemies on screen, the frame rate is gonna start dipping. But once you get rid of the enemy, then you're all set. I'm not saying it's like 2 or 3 enemies, but if it's like more than that, then that's a different story. It does look like some sort of 16-bit game, kinda, but remember, this is a Jaguar exclusive, so things are a little different. I'm not sure if I can recommend this game for casuals only because of its difficulty curve, but if you guys just like a new challenge for yourselves, then this is definitely a game for you to play. Or for anyone that's a huge fan of the Metroid or Castlevania games or Metroidvania in general, then I say give this a shot.